Alright folks, I'm going to finish this video off in style. I'm going to take you guys with me to the mountain. There's a couple mountains I'm blessed to be able to go visit when I feel like it, but this is an awesome one that we just found not too long ago. So I'm going to take you guys with me. I'm going to take my little dog Rosie, my little Boston Terrier. Hey! She could always use the walk. And we'll talk there. I'll bring you guys along, let you check out the cool scenery. All right, peace. It's a pretty steep mountain, so I'm not going to take you guys for the whole walk here. But yeah, man, I just like to, honestly, I don't come out here as often as I should. And many times when I come out here, it's just to shoot videos real quick. And I'm always, like all of us, I'm always seeming to be pressed for time. So once I've done my thing, I usually bounce, and I don't really give myself enough time just to kind of take it all in and chill and just enjoy the energy, because this place, as well as any other really good nature spot, has a very soothing and noticeable energy that is healing in all ways. And there is such benefit of just being in it. And when I shoot videos, I'm kind of focused and I have my phone, it tends to sort of diminish that experience. So that's why I'm going to come out here today. Yes, I'm shooting a video now, but I also, other than chatting with you guys, I'm going to chill out, dog. I'm planning on just sitting and reading. I'm actually going to be a little bit mindful. A lot of these mountains in California, they talk about rattlesnakes and whatnot, and I've never seen one. So I just sort of carelessly just wandered around. But me and my daughter saw one the other day. Jesus. So now it's like I'm not messing around. I know they're around here, and last thing I want to do is step on one. Okay, it's getting a little bit rugged here. So I'll talk to you guys when I get up a little bit higher. So I found a nice little chill spot, as you can see. I'm actually sitting on a little bench here, so it's a really nice area to kind of just hang out. I wanted to share with you a book I'm reading. I'm reading this book called Riveted. It's like the science of why jokes make us laugh, movies make us cry, religion makes us feel one with the universe. It's by Jim Davis. He's a psychologist, I believe. And I'm not going to recommend it. It's not the greatest book. But this guy, this author, is like a straight up hardcore skeptic in every sense of the word. And the tone of the book, it's even fairly condescending, where it's very evident that he's got a real irritation for people who believe in anything outside of the confines of science. And in the past, books like this would have triggered me because they'd make me question my own beliefs and experiences, and I would dismiss the source as a whole. Rather, now I am actually what's the word? I see the benefit of being triggered by someone like this, because any hesitation he makes me feel, again, I know that's myself, and it's good. I think it's really good for us to really expand beyond just always press our boundaries. So by reading this book, it's sort of pressing my boundaries. Also, he's got a lot of other very valuable information to share. He's an incredibly bright dude. He's done his research, and the book basically has been explaining exactly what he said there, the psychology of what rivets us, makes us feel riveted. And that's just very helpful and interesting to me. But in the beginning, again, I would really limit myself to only spiritual books, only books that align with my own personal ideology. But I realize that leads to an ungroundedness and an imbalance within myself. And though I'm gonna take what he says with a grain of salt and use my own discernment, it's unwise to dismiss someone because a particular thing they say doesn't necessarily align with, again, my own personal perspective. So that's that. I've been meaning to kind of mention that somehow. Not make a whole video over it, obviously, but that's another good thing about these vlogs. I get these little ideas, little bits and pieces I kind of want to share with you guys, but I'm like, okay, how do I formulate that into a really captivating title and actually make a video around that theme? Some things are just too small to really ask for your attention for an entire video for. So it's really cool, man. I get to share my wisdom, and if you guys like it, just let me know. Let me know if I'm getting too boring or too whatever. I personally just love doing this. This is kind of what I had in mind when I started on YouTube, just really sharing myself. And I know my channel, for the most part, has really been predominantly just sharing information in not a dry way, but in a pretty educational type of way, rather than, again, my personality being too involved. So I prefer this. I'm glad you guys seem to like it. I know a lot of you want to see my wife again. I do too. I tried to get her to do a video today, but she said she's got to shower and wash her hair and all that kind of stuff, and she wants to look nice for the camera. So I assume she'll grow out of that, because I plan on making her come on at least a couple times a week. And because she's really cool, and she has a lot to share, as you guys saw. You can tell she's a high-level lady, a lot of wisdom to share, and she has a story very similar to mine, yet very different, and offers a very different feminine perspective. So I definitely want to get her take on a lot of different things, just because it's not all, I don't know everything, and my perspective is just my perspective. So I would like to share, again, other people's perspectives with you around the general nature of what I talk about. So I'm gonna give my dog some water. It's been like 1/10 of a mile and he's already panting. He's got a black coat, so you can see. You gonna make it there, buddy? I gotta get this little doggy some water. So I might go climb up a little higher. I might climb up that way. Because when I first climbed this mountain, I just stopped here and was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Look at this view, dude. But there's really much more to this place. So as you go higher, I tend to actually like it a little bit better than what you're seeing now. So I'll go check. Let's see what pops in my head, and I'll let you guys check that out soon as well. All right, peace. Okay, we made it. So we're not by that lake anymore. This is my personal favorite spot. I don't know why. This mountain right here in front of me, which is kind of divided by this like valley here, which I'm afraid this doesn't do it justice. It's a lot further away than it may seem. I don't know, it just has a pulse to it, a really welcoming and serene energy. So I just want to kind of let you guys check that out. I'm going to turn around here and we'll do a little chat. So I'll just take this time to talk about, again, I don't really do, although I might start doing them again, I haven't decided, but I don't really talk about the energy that much. But I still feel like I have a good grasp on them, like all my other energy update videos. So I figure I'll give you my 2 cents, because it happens to be what I feel is very positive. A lot of times the winter time is a lot of rearrangement and cleaning up the mess of our old life. And during this time, there's usually a lot of emotional upheaval, challenging emotions. And though throughout that, there's like releases and epiphanies and realizations, the benefits of that tends to be short-lived, almost like our souls like us to get a lot of stuff done during the winter. So when the spring rolls around in summer, we're sort of new people in new life situations, and then consequently can proceed very effectively in our life and accomplish quite a lot in a relatively short period of time. And it definitely feels that way. It feels like we're finally, in a sense, expanding again out of ourselves, more into the world, in very positive ways. I just think we'll experience more positivity, more bliss, more exciting new things coming up now. And of course, within that, there are fluctuations. There's a lot of growth, and with speed comes intense emotional growth. So that's sort of that's always there. Emotional ups and downs, pressing outside of our comfort zone, dealing with our ego insecurities. Again, that tends to kick up as we go forward in anything new that's new to us. But it just feels like a very welcomed positive shift, where again, like we're coming out of the fog. The fog is clearing. The spring sunshine is starting to shine brightly, and that's sort of an underlying theme to some of our lives to some extent. So I hope you're enjoying this little expansive wave outward as I am. For me, a big thing was this whole YouTube channel shift. That's a big thing for me. And usually when big things happen in my life, I tend to just talk about them, and it tends to coincide with a lot of what's going on with you guys. Maybe you have some big breakthroughs or exciting new things you're just getting started with, a new job, a new opportunity, a new idea, a new path, something like that. That's exciting for you, and you see that it's possible for you, and the energy is going to be very supportive of that. It's very important, I found, to be very flexible, because sometimes we get into a pattern where we're expanding and things are going good and we're on the right track, and we get a little bit too attached to that. So when things go south, quote unquote, where things start to become challenging again and maybe forward progress stalls a bit and we find ourselves experiencing these funks a lot more, we tend to resist that and try to, like, in a bullheaded way, insist on recapturing what has now been changed. But there's benefits to the change, the going inward, the challenges, the uncomfortable emotional releases and whatnot. There's benefits to that. And you could have that same momentum in just the opposite direction. And it's just this constant ebb and flow of expansion and contraction, and the way to be productive and grow spiritually very quickly, regardless of the ups or downs, is to stay as detached as possible and make the most of what's going on, embrace what's going on, value what's going on, define what's going on, regardless if it's good or bad, forward or backwards, positive, negative, heavy or light, as positive. You can define the whole spectrum of dark and light as positive, because even the dark, you can extract positivity, positive insights from that. And by only through going through our own darkness are we able to experience these higher octaves of the light. So we actually heard another rattlesnake just back there, and I started walking away, naturally. And I was like walking, but right before I was going to walk, I was putting my phone away, and I saw like 111. Almost every time I make a video, I get some sort of numeric, some sort of like reminder, especially when I edit the videos. That's how I always get them with the times with that. Anyway, on the way back up this mountain to go back down, I had the thought about, it just reminded me of how I used to be. I used to have this sort of naive attitude about spirit guides and protection. I thought in the beginning, for a while there, that I was basically untouchable and I could do no wrong, and my spirit guides, because it was so real to me, there were so many divine encounters I would have that, again, I wasn't used to in the beginning, that I thought, man, if anything's ever going to be like a problem for me, my spirit guides are going to let me know, right? But I've learned a couple different things about that. For one, sometimes, again, a lot of times challenges like flat tires and little stuff like that benefits us, so they're not going to shield us from that. Secondly, their whole idea, from my own perspective, they want us to be on our own 2 feet. If we're going to do something totally stupid, I think they would oftentimes let us fall just so we can realize that, listen, we're not going to baby you, kind of thing, And then there, of course, are those other big times in our life where I almost think it's planned, whenever they do kind of have a divine intervention and they really do sort of step in a very big and noticeable way and sort of protect you from something drastic. So anyway, I just want to kind of share that. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that. But again, it's very interesting when you go through life. Prior to like when I went through my drug addiction, my parents weren't religious. They never really, and I'm fortunate for that. They never made me go to church. They never tried to instill anything in me. But consequently, I didn't believe in really a higher power until I was 18 and had like a really interesting experience in rehab, which I've talked about it in other videos. Maybe I'll leave a link. We'll see. It's in my 10 Signs You're a Wanderer video. I tell you all about that. That was when I kind of realized that God exists, and like in some form, divinity exists. That which we cannot perceive, that is of divine nature, exists. I experienced it. But a lot of times when you first start to go through this awakening, even though you're going through craziness, parallel to that is like the legitimate experiential perception that that divinity does exist. This will reveal itself to you, most of you anyway, in your own unique ways, whether you have like divine encounters in your dreams, or you can sense the presence, or just sometimes get waves of intense, loving, divine light, higher energies through your body. Just the magical synchronicity, just the nature of synchronicity in and of itself is pretty, it tends to like rewire your whole train of thought in terms of how you frame your reality. And in the beginning, before I was able to get used to this, again, I just made all of these sort of premature assumptions that led to a state of ungroundedness. It's like kind of like it's a balance of these two worlds that we can now perceive. They're both there, they both exist, but it's not only the divine one, it's not only the higher dimensional ones, even though you can kind of peek into that from time to time. There, you are still on Earth, you still will be in pain if you run into a brick wall, and you can't be too stupid. It's about, that's our job here as light workers, in my opinion, fundamentally, is to balance these two. And that has been, so far for me, the best way to relate with anything in life, especially like the spiritual awakening stuff, is balance. Is it good to meditate? Yeah. Is it maybe a little bit overkill if you meditate only and don't ever do anything? Of course. It's not one or the other, you know, like that. And that's what I found with the spirit guides. I found that when I really need them, they're there. But if I don't need them, they're going to do me they will do me the favor of not helping, just so I can learn the lesson to be more self-sufficient. Because if we want to really be light workers and claim to be connected, then we don't always need mommy and daddy spirit guides to always help us and tell us what to do. Anyway, it just popped in my head. Anyway, so I'm probably going to conclude this video very soon. I'm not going to keep you guys here for 3 hours watching Victor talk about whatever pops in his head. But I definitely plan on getting my wife on a couple videos this week for sure. You know, it's a new thing to have her on, and we just got to sort of find ways to work it into our schedule in a harmonious way that works for both of us, because she's pretty busy too with all these kids. And you guys let me know. We have some ideas of what we're going to talk about, but you guys let me know if there's anything in particular you want to hear from us collectively. Because, again, she has that female presence and female perspective. And not only that, she's just another person, another brain who's going through this and has been going through it basically as long as I have, for the most part. And so if there's any videos that you guys would like to see us talk about, maybe subjects I haven't covered, or something I have covered that you want her take on, let me know, and we'll hook you up. So I will be in touch. I'll probably say goodbye down there. And I hope you enjoyed this video thus far. Peace. Hope you all enjoyed that one. I will speak to you in another video. Thank you so much for all the feedback and like what you guys did just yesterday when I uploaded that first vlog. You guys, I am just so blown away and so touched by it. I probably talked about this earlier in the video, so I won't go on anymore. But thank you very much. It's very fun for me to do this, and it's just so heartwarming how all the love you guys share with me. So thank you. Have an amazing day. Talk to you soon. Peace. Real quick, I just want to kind of make a note of some of the trippy shit my kids do sometimes. You know, people talk about like indigo children and stuff, and to me it's not super like out there, but they do some weird psychic stuff, definitely fairly often. And just an example, we were about to go to the jumping pillows, as I mentioned. It's the same day from the other day's video. So we're about to go to the jumping pillows, and I'm like looking around the camper, and I'm looking for my sunglasses, which I found. And then I was just thinking about, like a few minutes before, of a specific book I was gonna grab. And so in my little compartment in my couches, I had like three different books, brand new books I got yesterday. And I had a certain book in mind. I didn't say any of this, and all of a sudden my son, 3 years old, Lucas, he went in there, and he just went in there on his own and grabbed the exact book I was going to grab and said, "Daddy, I just got you your book." So, you know, they do coincidental little stuff like that all the time. It's a little bit wild. Kind of wanted to share that neat little thing with you guys. Why don't you tell these guys what made you decide to go get this book? I didn't say anything about it. How'd you know to get the book? How'd you know I wanted that book?
I just was looking around, but I didn't see, so I just opened the little glove thing and the couches, and I grabbed this book.
I know. What made you think to do that? You don't ever hand me my books. What was up with that? What, you just thought to do that?
Yep.
No.